Welcome to the deep dive. We take documents, different kinds of research, big ideas, and we really try to pull out the most important nuggets for you.
That's the goal.
Today, we're looking at something pretty powerful, a text that wasn't just, talking about history. It was trying to reshape it, actively.
Yeah, definitely aiming to carve out a new future.
We're diving into excerpts from the Tricknology of the Enemy by Elijah Muhammad. He was known as the Messenger of Allah, a major leader in the Nation of Islam.
A pivotal figure, absolutely.
And this text gives you a really direct look, kind of unfiltered, into the ideas that fueled a whole movement. So we're going to walk you through some of the key parts.
Right, and it's important to place this document. It comes from a specific time, a specific context. Its impact was huge. It really voiced these deep grievances and laid out some pretty radical solutions that definitely shaped a generation. Our job today really is just to unpack the core messages impartially. What were the arguments? What was he calling people to do? We want to understand what the author believed and communicated so you can grasp the power and the implications of it all.
Exactly. You've handed us this document, and we're here to shine a light on the really significant ideas, help you understand what was driving things. So let's start where he starts, identifying what he calls the problem, a history of deception and denial.
Yeah?
He opens up introducing himself not just as Elijah Muhammad, but as the preacher of freedom, justice, and equality for my people, the American so-called Negroes. That phrasing itself is deliberate, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. American so-called Negroes. It challenges the labels, tries to reclaim identity right from the start.
Yeah, and then he makes this core claim that this group represents the truly lost and found members of our nation, the black nation of the planet Earth. That's a fundamental reframing.
It is, and he connects it to a very specific origin story, as he understood it. The text says the American so-called Negroes were lost about 400 years ago, brought here to America specifically in 1555 by an English slave trader, John Hawkins. And he presents this as knowledge given to him by Allah.
So it's positioned as a divinely revealed history, not just a general sense of grievance, but very specific.
Exactly. Pinpointed.
And the text talks about nearly 400 years of being servitude slaves. This long history, he argues, leads directly to what they want now. Justice. We seek equality. We seek freedom above all from the slave master's children.
Right. It draws a direct line from that past oppression to the present demands. It's an unbroken chain, in his view.
And this is where that term comes in, tricknology. What exactly did he mean by that?
It's a really key concept for her. Tricknology basically refers to the cunning, deceptive methods used by oppressors, especially intellectual and spiritual manipulation, ways to keep control.
Okay.
He says the slave masters deceived us in many ways, and he really highlights religious promises as a prime example of this tricknology. It goes beyond just physical control.
And the specific trick he points to is the promise of heaven.
Yeah. The teaching that, if you're obedient, if you suffer quietly now, you'll go to heaven when we die.
Yeah.
He saw that as a tactic.
A tactic to keep people passive.
Exactly. To pacify, to control. And he directly challenges this. He argues that death is just, rest, unconsciousness.
Like the end of awareness.
Completely. He says the body goes to rest and can never be disturbed anymore. It is out of the world of consciousness, unconscious, and will never regain conscious anymore.
Wow.
And his logic then is, if heaven was waiting, wouldn't people welcome death? And who would welcome eternal torment? So he uses this to undermine that whole promise of an afterlife reward. It's a way of saying, look, that promise was manipulation, salvation, freedom. It has to happen here on earth while we're alive. It's quite a radical reframing of salvation itself.
Right, stripping away what he saw as a tool of control. So after outlining this problem, this history of deception, he then lays out the demands: freedom, justice, equality, and land.
Yeah, and they're very specific, not just vague ideas. The text says, we want freedom from you. We want a full and complete freedom from you. We are not seeking your own, we're seeking our own. It's a real declaration of autonomy.
Okay, so let's break those down. Freedom first. What did that mean in this context? It wasn't just about, basic civil rights.
No, it was more expansive, not just being allowed to speak or, as the text puts it, right along beside the owner, the white man.
Right.
It was freedom to go wherever we believe we are qualified to go and are respected. So it includes dignity, respect, recognition of capability.
Okay, so a much broader sense of freedom than justice.
Justice is defined as equal justice under the law, applied equally to all, regardless of creed or nationality or class. But then he adds, quoting Isaiah, that justice stands afar off and never comes near us.
Which powerfully conveys that feeling of the system just not working for them.
Exactly. A sense of deep systemic failure.
And the third one, equality, is also defined in a really interesting way. He says, "We do not believe that we are equal with our slave masters," which might sound strange at first.
Right. But he clarifies. Equality, for him, means having a free chance to go for himself. It means getting to know what the slave master knows and to have and own what he has.
So it's about opportunity and resources. Power, essentially.
Exactly. If you don't have the knowledge, the means, the ownership, then in his view, you are not his equal. It's very practical, tied to self-sufficiency.
Which leads directly into the demand for land.
Yes, a huge one. We want something that we can call our own, some piece of the earth. He frames it as something that shouldn't be surprising given the history of their labor, toiling, sweat and blood, and dying for Americans.
But land isn't just property, it's fundamental to nationhood,
Yeah,
self-determination.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's seen as essential, and this ties back to that heaven on earth idea you mentioned.
Yeah.
He says, Allah has chosen us, the so-called American Negro, to put us into heaven while we live and not after death. So heaven is here, now, achievable through having their own land, their own space.
Okay, so that lays out the demands, but then he talks about how to achieve them. And he's critical of some methods, right? Rejecting old ways.
Yes, very much so. He explicitly states, "Me and my followers here in America have not protested against anything publicly by marching or the like." He says he sympathizes with the desire for justice, but he's not in sympathy with those who probably willfully and knowingly accept the wrong steps.
So a clear break from, say, the nonviolent marching tactics of the civil rights movement at the time.
A clear strategic difference, yes. His path is separation. The text says, today we want to be separated and go for ourselves with a little help from you.
And the reason isn't just dislike for America, but fear.
It's about escaping the conditions, living with a fear of being mistreated by our enemies. Separation is presented as the only way to truly eliminate that constant threat and live with autonomy.
And he uses very strong language about that enemy.
Extremely strong. The text asserts, there are no people on earth as wicked and deceiving as the white man, especially the American white man. It's stark, reflecting that deep sense of historical grievance and mistrust.
Given that mistrust, it makes sense that begging is off the table.
Completely rejected. We don't believe in begging, he writes. We don't believe in getting on our knees praying to our slave masters' children to give us nothing, but the freedom to go for ourselves and let us create our own needs.
It's a call for self-reliance then, building their own future.
Absolutely. Working together, night and day if possible, to get people to understand they need some of this earth that they can call their own. It's about agency.
And he feels they're kind of trapped. Cornered is the word used.
Yeah. Here today, we are cornered. He sees no salvation in jobs or integration within the existing Christian government. The only way forward, he argues, is under a government of our own.
A total rejection of the existing system as a path to freedom.
A complete rejection, which naturally leads to the question, okay, if not this system, then what?
And the answer presented is Islam.
Exactly. Islam is presented as the true religion of God, the truth, and the thing that will make them free. He even cites the Gospel of John to support that. It's positioned as the solution, spiritually and practically.
And practically, what does Islam offer according to the text?
It offers a whole framework. It's described as a religion of fearlessness. It promotes cleanliness in body, words, deeds, eating right, feeling secure, achieving success through the power and the very wisdom and guidance of Almighty God, Allah.
So it's a comprehensive way of life aimed at empowerment.
Very much so. A blueprint for rebuilding, really, countering that tricknology he talked about.
And he makes this pretty bold historical claim about Islam, too.
He does, that it is this religion that brought the white man and his people out of chaos 4,000 years ago, and also that it's a religion not wanted by the white man now because, as he puts it, they know that they do not have the truth for a Muslim.
So it's positioned as this ancient, powerful truth that the enemy fears.
That's the framing. And underlying it is the belief that a good religion doesn't recognize a slave. It recognizes a very smart and a very highly learned person.
Which connects back to elevating people, countering the idea of inferiority.
Precisely. Linking Islam directly to intelligence and worth.
Okay, so all of this builds towards a call to action. Building a new nation.
Yes. The message becomes urgent. The time have arrived that we must unite and do something for ourselves. It's an imperative.
And he sees the potential there
Yeah.
among the people.
Definitely. He mentions the scientists and many technical trained men and women among them. He calls them a gold mine for beginning a new government or a world for themselves.
So it's not just a dream. He sees the practical building blocks.
He presents it as practical, leveraging existing skills for self-governance, for economic development. Totally separate.
And the urgency is just constant. We must get away from being everybody's slave. That's the best answer. We have to do these things whether we like them or not, because it is time. It is time.
No room for doubt or delay in his message. It's presented as necessary, mandated.
Mandated by whom?
By Allah, according to the text, who, he says, came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. And Master Fard Muhammad gave the mission to deliver us from our slave masters, give us a chance to go for ourselves and own some of this good earth.
So the entire plan, separation, land, self-sufficiency, is framed as divinely ordained.
Yes, giving it immense spiritual authority within his framework.
So when you put it all together, what's the big picture here? It's really a call for complete self-determination.
Radical self-determination, I think, is fair, based on the conviction that equality or acceptance within the existing system will just never happen. The text says this will never be done, meaning white man accepting them as equals. So don't wait for it.
Build something entirely new.
That's the call. A definitive break.
It helps to know a bit about the man himself, Elijah Muhammad.
Yeah, context is useful.
Yeah.
He was born back in 1897 in Georgia, met his teacher, Master Fard Muhammad, in Detroit in the early 1930s. That meeting was transformative.
Right.
When Master Fard Muhammad departed, the circumstances are debated, Elijah Muhammad became the leader, the guide, shaping the nation of Islam based on those teachings.
And his influence was undeniable. You just have to look at some of his students. Right?
Absolutely. The text mentions notable figures he taught or influenced. Malcolm X, who became Malik el-Shabazz, Cassius Clay, becoming Muhammad Ali, Louis Wilcox, now Louis Farrakhan. It shows the reach and power of these ideas.
Definitely illustrates the impact. Okay, so let's try to wrap up the key takeaways from this deep dive into the tricknology of the enemy.
Well, we saw his diagnosis of the problem, a history of deception, especially spiritual deception or tricknology.
Right, then the clear demands. Freedom, justice, equality, defined in very specific ways, and crucially, land.
Yes. And the rejection of existing methods like marching or integration in favor of separation and complete self-sufficiency.
With Islam presented as the foundation, the path forward to build this new nation, achieve that heaven on earth.
It's a complete self-contained vision, very powerful, very uncompromising, rooted in that specific interpretation of history and a call for total transformation.
Yeah.
And it does make you think, doesn't it? How do movements that come from such deep historical pain find their voice? What does it actually take to forge a completely new identity, a new path, separate from the dominant culture?
That's a huge question, and maybe for you listening, thinking about this perspective, this direct source, what does it tell you about that ongoing human drive for autonomy, for belonging, especially when facing huge systemic barriers? And what can we learn from the kind of deep conviction that fueled a movement like this?
Lots to think about there.
Definitely. Keep diving into those thoughts and join us next time on The Deep Dive.